So we do it once.
Great, we'll go ahead and get started. Today is Wednesday, December 20th. The time is 1:26, and we will get our Utah Lake Authority Board meeting rolling. We are actually going to start this meeting by going right into a closed session. That one of the big purposes of this meeting was to discuss the interviews, the character and professional competence of an individual. So we'll start there. I need a motion to go into a closed session, at which point we'll usher everybody not in the closed session out into the hallway or back out. Now that you've got here. Stop the recording.
I'll make that
Okay.
motion, Mayor Palmer.
First by Mayor Capuzzi, second by Mayor Larson. All in favor? Okay, we're going into a closed session. Oh, and the motion was by Mayor Capuzzi to go into a closed session for a discussion of the character, professional competence, or physical or mental health of an individual.
Yes.
Yes. And Marty, you second that?
Yes.
And everybody was in favor? Okay, so if anybody from our board online,
There are several. So anybody online, if you can please remove yourself right now from the online meeting and then join the waiting room again.
can I also get their votes?
Oh, yes, sorry, Curtis, Curtis Blair, you're our only board member online. Do you vote yay on that motion to go into closed session?
Yes, thank you. Vote yay.
No. Otherwise, I can remove you as well to back in when the board comes back from closed session. Yep.
You don't see that. And it looks okay, good.
Sam's gotta go.
Yeah, I'm gonna step out as well. I know, I'm getting there.
Or go have an agenda and what.
Oh,
The
yes,
handout.
sorry, Marty, here. That's the resolution of the agenda. Just take one of each. I think all the other board members got it. Are you okay with Addie Valdez, our biologist, stays online?
No, I don't think she should.
Addie, can you exit as well? Okay, so you just have Curtis on, the mic is active, Curtis, I can hear you fine. No problem. Some reason, try to. Okay, would you like Paula to remain?
Yes.
Okay.
You said yourself.
Oh, thank you for that reminder. I apologize. I did forget that. Thanks.
Yeah. That's good. He wants to run that IT.
Yeah, I'll start.
Great.
People.
This is not open session unless we tell people.
Okay, we are now recording and we are also in a room with a lot of people. Hi, everyone.
Oh. 3.1.
Yes, that was sure.
Oh.
I think I did this right. I did not mention.
So everybody's in. We are recording.
You
We don't
got
have
anyone that's in the
video on
boardroom?
it, so I'm gonna turn that back on.
Is this us? Looks like it's on.
Yeah, looks like we are good. Okay, so you should be good.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. This brings us to the next point of our agenda, which are our action items. We'll go right into 5.1, which is form an audit committee, and Sam will give us a brief intro to that.
Thanks, Chair. So this is just an item that arose. We're in the process of doing our annual auditing and transparency reports, and in discussion with the state auditor's office, which is the group that handles the authority's audit. They recommended that we do form a audit committee. The main purpose of the committee is just to have a body that is a subset of the board to interact with the state auditors so that it's not us, the staff and management who are being audited, doing that main communication. So the exact process will be established once the group is set together and once we get back in touch with the auditor's office on finalizing that. But for now, they recommended a minimum of 3 people, max of 5, just to have that odd number in case there's a disagreement or something to have a deciding vote, but it would not be final decision. The audit committee would still bring the report, the results, any recommendations would go to the entire board. This is just to help facilitate and streamline the audit process for the auditor's office. In advance, I did talk with Cameron because they did recommend that if we can have somebody on that committee, that does have financial background of some kind, it's always recommended in order to help with even something as simple as using layman's terms, which I would probably if I were on this committee. So we're looking for 3 board members if possible, if there's enough interest, 5 board members to be willing to serve on that audit committee. And this would not be like an ongoing, like it's not a year-round commitment. Typically in years moving forward, we were a little bit behind on our timeline, so it's occurring right now over the next weeks to maybe 2 months. But in the future, it would occur typically probably between August to October on a regular basis, and we can always change up the membership on it too.
You know what kind of time commitment comes with being on the audit committee?
He didn't specify exactly, but I believe from what he was describing, it seemed pretty minimal. It's just an initial discussion, so there's a agreed upon procedures discussion and what that agreement will entail. And then at minimum, there's a report back to that committee, discuss the recommendations and any changes that need to be made or discussion with staff that needs to be made. And then the auditor will report directly to the board. I don't know, Cameron, do you have any other?
Yeah, I
clarity on
would say,
that?
Ben, from my experience, I mean, there's initial kickoff meeting. It might require, a few hours of back and forth, essentially doing that, agreed upon procedures or scope of work for this audit. And then it's dependent, it's Q&A as they have questions, there might be emails back and forth, but it should be relatively minor.
And I would say
for that
especially
time
this
frame.
year, because our finances are so simple. He pointed out if we were to bond or something like that in the future, that gets a lot more complicated. There's more commitment from all parties involved with it at that point.
Having been through this with a prior or a separate quasi-governmental entity, same status as ULA, it was like a 5-hour total actual engaged. I mean, there's some reading time, there's some follow-ups, but it's like a 5 to 10 total commitment.
If possible, not required. We were trying to get ready.
So Sam, I would volunteer as tribute to participate in the audit committee.
I appreciate that, Cam.
Yeah, I want to make that one.
There was a gentleman who has spoken during public comment who was asking about this maybe a year ago, and he said he had
From Saratoga.
experiment
Richard Fogle.
experience. Okay,
The discussion with the state auditor's office was a subset of our actual board.
okay.
If there's a
Versus an
need
outside,
to have
Outside.
somebody else with financial acumen, we could, but because we do have Cameron on, I feel like from what I described to the state auditor's office, they were satisfied.
Okay.
Typically, we would not have an outside entity, somebody not directly tied to ULA participate in the audit committee. The audit itself will be public. It will be something that's external facing. The state auditor's office will make that, whatever findings, but this is more of an internal group to facilitate the audit.
recommendations. Okay,
Not make the recommendations. The auditor's office will make recommendations. This is just the facilitation between the ULA and the state auditor's office. So it's to give them a point of contact. And as Sam said, he being a financial manager, it sometimes would be difficult to say, Sam, tell me if you're embezzling from
Yeah.
the ULA. So they would come to us and say, are you aware of anything? Can you show me this? We would verify disclosure.
Just those eyes.
So it's,
extra.
Yeah, and then staff's role is really the supplying of the documents. We file the reports, we provide the bank statements, the ledgers, everything. And the board is really the one that's interacting with the auditor's office.
Thank you for that clarification. All
Okay,
right.
we
What's that?
have one. It looks like there are 4 other seats. Is this something that we want to determine those board members today? Sam said we do, if at all possible.
It helps us get started sooner, which there is just a concern about making sure because we are a little bit behind on the timing.
Aren't
We're
you
okay because there's a
excited?
grace
You all
period, but.
yeah, where's the rest of
Who's
not-
who's not here?
I'll join on that.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll be able to offer as much as Cameron, but I would happily help out.
Thank you, Ben.
Curtis seems like he'd be good.
Did we have at least one other board member? Okay, if I turn it, chuckle at you.
Hillary just volunteered Curtis, is that what I heard?
I can volunteer myself too, but I think Curtis would be really good.
Well, who here is not on an audit committee? I'm
I'm
on
already-
2.
I'm
I don't think
already-
we have 3.
Okay, I can do it.
I'm a little worried with the timing of the legislative session.
Curtis, did you?
I second Hillary's nomination to serve on the audit committee. Hillary, you'd be fine. Well, no, you're gonna be in Mongolia, I know.
That's true, but I
I don't think a remote participation would be a problem though. I'm sure we could do it as e-meetings. I don't think there'll be a challenge.
Well, if Ben, Curtis and I are on, there's at least 3, so you wouldn't have to, but you're still welcome to.
Yeah, I'd love to learn about
I kept you on it, and so we just need a fifth member. Fifth grade soul, but we could also look for that person and allow them.
We discussed having an odd number in case there was a need for a recommendation to go from the committees.
I feel like would everybody feel comfortable with just somebody, Sam can send out an email and find the fifth person.
I'm also comfortable dropping off if,
No.
if you want an odd number.
That's a great idea.
Needs the opportunity to serve on an audit committee.
We just need a motion to form an audit committee and which those if you were already to go find other.
Yes, that would work.
I'll move to open and form an audit committee for the Utah Lake Authority with those individuals that have come forward thus far and to round that group out with one more.
Okay, can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mayor Capuzzi. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Looks like you are all in favor, okay. I want a quick clarity on this, the difference between 5.2 and 5.3. Talks about the final hiring steps. Can you describe
Yeah.
5.3 to me?
So we plan to have 5.2 on the agenda in order to make sure we're clear on the chair being able to negotiate the final step. But just with some of the discussion from the board, having some questions about where we would go from today, we wanted to make sure there was an opportunity. If we needed to have some kind of approval, that we weren't leaving the meeting saying, oh, did we actually get approval to do X, whatever the board may
Okay,
decide.
so let's go ahead with 5.2. Everybody, if you've looked over the resolution, just clarify on the wording to see if you feel comfortable with this procedure moving forward. I think that what this would probably do, is it would allow me to take any discussions that were had, move forward and offer an opportunity for ratification at our January meeting. Does everybody feel like that's consistent with what this says?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I need a motion on the approval of this resolution.
Second.
Okay, you are first.
Yeah.
Mary
You got it,
Lynn,
you got it.
And the second by Brady Brammer. All in favor? Oh, this is resolution. Do I need to go down by a roll call? Okay,
Because
Julie Fulmer, yes.
Hillary Hungerford, yes.
Mark Johnson, yes.
Carolyn Lambert, yes.
Michelle Capuzzi, yes.
Lady Brammer, yes.
Ben Starman, yes.
Emily Canton, yes.
Marty Larson, yes.
Cameron Dalton, yes.
Curtis Blair.
Curtis Blair, yes.
Okay, that passed. It looks like I think we have the 5.3. We have a plan going forward. Was there anything else anybody wanted to add to that? I feel like we have a good trajectory with this resolution
Yes.
and then kind of outlining the process for ratification at our January. Do you feel comfortable with that? All right, then, we don't need a motion on 5.3, so I just need a motion to, oh no, I have public comments. Any public comments? Okay, seeing as there are no public comments, I'm gonna go ahead and close that, and then I just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, and second, all in favor? Mark, Martin,
Thank you.
yeah.
Just gonna send the press. I'm not gonna make it to the 3 o'clock meeting and now I'm gonna make it to the.
I can prove you wrong on that.
Free time.
Darn it.
Thank you, Curtis.
Unless you don't want to be there, we can have a
That's a
separate.
big reason. This meeting after the meeting in the parking lot, but I'm sure it's gonna make me nothing.